inspection. We're gonna show you guys how to do a pre-trip inspection. We have my dad here, Big Country. He's been in how long you been in the trucking industry?
30 years.
Over 30 years, y'all, but he been working with semis and things like that. So he's gonna give us a pre-trip inspection today and show y'all, you know, what to look for before you start your truck up in the morning.
First thing, if the DOT ever stop you, the first two things they gonna ask you for when they come to your door is your reflectors and your fire extinguisher. Make sure you got your fire extinguisher gauge visible where they won't have to be, where you won't have to be taking it loose and moving it around, and make sure it's mounted, because if it's not mounted, that is a violation too.
Right.
Okay, and you go down your truck. I keep a hammer in the truck with me, and I hit my tires. If they sound solid, that means they're not low. Check your lug nuts. Make sure all your lug nuts are tight. Normally, if a lug nut is loose, it would have like rust coming from around it.
Okay.
You know, so notice your lug nuts. They do make a thing that you can put on here, like a little dinky looking plastic thing you can buy to put on there, and it'll tell you when your lug nuts is loose, because it will go to moving.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and you go on to the back of your truck, which this is a non-CDL truck, so you go on to the back of it. If you notice, we put reflective tape down all the way down the side of this truck for high visibility, but it will help on, you know, in the dark, if your lights go out, or you know, and you're trying to get home, they can see this tape from like 40-50 yards away.
Okay.
Off the headlights. Come to the back of your truck. Check your tail lights and your flashers. If you look at your tail lights, they flash when they turn dim. If they still on, that means your tail light is working in that light. On both, you know, same on both sides. The flasher is bright. When they go dim, that's the tail light. So that means they working. I come in back and I put something on my brake pedal and walk to the back.
Okay, y'all, so he put this on the brake pedal to hold the brakes down, and he's gonna walk back here to the back, make sure them brake lights working.
Sure my brake lights are working.
Let's see if the brakes are working.
Brake lights are working if they're bright.
All right, y'all.
Okay, then I go back to the front.
That's how you can check your brakes. What time is it? What time is it?
And drivers, always make sure that you got your mirrors set to where you can see everything around the truck. Try not to have a blind side.
Okay.
You know, I mean, set your mirrors properly.
Set your mirrors properly.
Around, walk down, do a visible check, make sure everything is intact. This here is a turn signal in the fender. Make sure it's working, because any light that's on the truck got to be working. If it's on the truck, it has to be working.
All right.
Okay. You got your flashers working on.
Got the flashers working.
Right side. You got the flasher working on the left side. You got your headlights. They working on dim.
Headlights working on dim, y'all. So make sure your flashers working and your headlights.
They both working on bright. Check your low beam and your brights.
Check the low beam and the high beam. So make sure the brights working. So he put the brights on and they're working.
Check your cab lights. Make sure they working.
Check all your cab lights.
We're raising the hood. We come. This here is basically the fuel filter. And this fuel filter, it's designed. Now this one here is about bad. This fuel filter here is just about to the end of the road because it is filled up here. This fuel filter is designed as a stop up down, you know, as a stop up to the fuel will rise to the cleaner part of the fuel filter. Once it get all the way up to the top, that fuel filter is gonna clog up. It might let you down on the road.
Okay. So we need to get that changed?
Yeah.
All right.
Check your oil. Make sure your oil is good. You got a hydraulic brake system. Check your brake fluid in it. You know, cause that hydraulic brake, it'll fail just like anything else. This here is your reservoir. See, it's
pretty low.
It got a low and a high. This one here is low because it usually right here where you want it.
Yeah, that's
so you need to add antifreeze.
Okay, and we have some in the truck right here. So we're gonna add this, y'all, because this is something that we need to fix before we get on the road.
Yeah.
And we actually gonna get that checked, y'all, because it might have a leak somewhere, because we see this going low pretty quick. So
well, and just check everything. Make sure everything is intact. Make sure you don't have no oil leaks. You know, just look at your engine real good. Make sure you don't have no oil leaks. And ain't nothing touching. You know, it ain't nothing, you know, ain't no wires chafed or nothing. And I mean, that's basically it. You know, check your front wheels. You know, basically the same thing way you did the rest of them. But long as you got good tires, all your lights are working, and your turn signals, you know, your flashers, make sure you're, like I said, your antifreeze and your brake fluid and your oil is, you know, up to level. You know, you're pretty well good to go. And you know, I mean, that's just a simple inspection, you know, of a Hino box truck. I mean, and happy trucking. You know, that's
pretty much it, y'all.
That's pretty much it.
Done our pre-trip inspection. We added some antifreeze because it was a little low. We went around the whole truck to make sure our lights was working.
One more thing, since your truck has got hydraulic brakes, always kind of look down beside the tires on the inside, front and back. Make sure you don't have a brake line or nothing leaking, because if your brake line is leaking, it would drip and you will see the brake fluid on the tire, on the rim, or on the ground, right down where it's dripping. So always kind of look for things like that too.
Let me see, where is the brake line at? Let me get a good.
So this is the brake line.
Right there,
that's a hydraulic brake line.
So if that's leaking, watch out for the leaks.
Yeah, just make sure that, you know, it ain't wet nowhere on them brake lines. Because if it ever get wet on those brake lines anywhere, that means it's leaking.
All right. Helping.
I'm just greasing up the lift gate because it ain't no alamites and the got joints, and that'll slow down the wear. You know, metal against metal, you keep it greased and it'll last longer and it won't get no slack in it from wear. You know, just keep it greased.
So
you know, even though it ain't no alamite, you can put this white lithium grease down in it, and it'll keep it lubricated.
All right, then.
And keep it working correctly.
Try to keep everything greased up and lubricated to make sure it's working correctly. So
if you look, you see how this grease is sticking. See the part on the outside, you know, once you wash it, it'll come off, or it'll wear off, but the grease down in between there stay in there. You know, me myself, I recommend greasing this once every week or every 2 weeks.
All right, once a week or every 2 weeks. Keep that lift gate greased up.
The rollers roll freely. more freely.
Use it on the back door.
You can let your door down and grease the rollers. They got burns in them. You grease them and that'll make them roll more freely.
All right. Alright y'all, so we just showed you a full pre-trip inspection. We got a special guest, got my dad, Big Country. He showed y'all all the details for a pre-trip inspection. So guys, we finna head on our route, but peace and love.
Keep on trucking.